Welcome to brief demo of Curacel. We basically Curacel is a simple web and mobile-based practice management system for clinics in West Africa. We provide them with a mobile first and web system that works offline that basically allows them to manage bits of the administration, patient records, and currently we were seeing a lot of improvement in the way these hospitals work. So I'll walk you briefly through how our demo works. Typically, a hospital gets a domain that's tied to the name of that hospital. So let's say one of our currently using clinics, Filter. So Filter would type on their browser filter.curacel.co, and this will take them straight to their app that will present them with a login. And for the purpose of this demo, I'm using the demo instance, and there's a username and there's a password, and they can basically log in to get access. When they log in, they are sent to a dashboard that looks like this. Now, Curacel allows them to be able to have access to a dashboard. So when you log in, the first thing you actually see is a dashboard that has the number of patients, your appointment, lab requests, and a couple of other features that you request for in terms of analytics that you want to see. And because our USP is being simple first, there's a simple side menu that has the very basic components of what a clinic needs. Okay, so there's inventory, there's the patient records, there's appointment, there's the billing, and there's the medication. So for the purposes of this demo, we're on the admin dashboard. That's basically the administrator or the director of the clinic or hospital that has access to every single module of the platform. So for instance, if we were to be logged in as a doctor, the doctor would only be able to see things pertaining to a doctor, which is probably which is just the patient, a little bit of billing, medication, and lab. So the doctor doesn't need to see billing, it doesn't need to see finance, it doesn't need to see inventory. And so we have different rows for the system, and each of the rows have their own dashboards. So quickly walking you through, when a patient walks into a hospital, the doctor would or the front desk officer or the nurse would be able to search out for the patient's records or click on the patient's side, and this will be able to pull all the list of all the patients who are currently in the system. And let's say Chiamaka walked in, instead of having to go look for files, you basically pull up Chiamaka's records, click on Chiamaka, and basically every single thing that the records, demographic records, clinical records of Chiamaka over the past couple of months and over the past couple of visits will load up. The doctor or the nurse or the front desk can decide to change basic details, demographic details, add contacts, update basic demographics. They can attach records so scan photographs, scan reports, they can attach them to this patient. They can also see appointments, results, and book new appointments with Chiamaka. So Chiamaka will get SMS reminders for the next appointment. Visits as well as so these are all the visits that Chiamaka has had. So the first time she was admitted, she came for a lab request. She just came for a consultation with the clinic. Then she was admitted again in October. So basically every single history that Chiamaka has, and then of course you can also drill down into this to see what the details are. So you basically be able to see what it was there, what was the vitals, was any lab done, was there any medication, was there any procedure, what was the doctor's notes. And for the purposes of this demo, most of these things are empty, so there's no notes, but typically this is how a doctor would update their notes. And of course there's also the part that has all the medications that Chiamaka has been given, all the imaging that data that has passed through the clinic, as well as all the lab requests. So from here, the doctor can also create new visits, request the lab to do a test. Well, and when you click on this basically requests the lab guys. So you add what visit it's tied to. So you select, it loads a drop down of all the past visits, and you select what you want the lab guy to do, and then put notes. So I want you to do urine test, right? And then you put any new notes you want to do, and you click on add, and this sends a request to the lab guys dashboard. Say this is, something you ought to do, and when it's done, the doctor gets a notification and can be able to review it. So because our value proposition is simplicity, this is as simple as it is, and this works offline. So for instance, I turn off my Wi-Fi and I refresh the page. Basically, so we've built the system in such a way that when you load the data, it encrypts some of your storage locally, so that you can also always be able to access it when you're offline or you're online. Okay, so it loads every single thing back. The doctor has access to be able to look at appointments. What are the appointments I have this month? So appointments I have today, this week. I can search appointments. I can add a new appointment. You can always get reports, even in terms of patients. Doctors can also get reports in terms of patients. What are all the discharges I've done this month? What are all the visits that have been here? Okay, let's say we want to look at all the visits starting from 2016, October to currently 2017. Then you select some of the criteria you want, and the system will be able to generate reports based on, okay, these are the number of people that have been to the clinic, this is what they came to do, and basically that you can export this report as Excel and import it into any other system that you want to use. And next thing I'd show would be the billing. So the billing basically at the moment helps them create invoice. So a patient walks in, and you create an invoice for the patient. So you select the name of the patient. So let's say Chiamaka, like we said. So you select Chiamaka, and then you select what visit they came to do, and you can typically be able to add charges. So are there any hospital charges, are there any pharmacy charges, any lab x-ray charges, ward items, and by the time you're done with all this, you can basically print an invoice. So this automatically sends it to your printer and has the receipt, the title of your hospital, and you can basically print this out, sign it, and hand it over to the patient. And this payment is tied into the patient side for the analytic module we're currently building. So at the moment, what we offer some of the clinics, this is our MVP, is to be able to manage patient records, their billing. Of course, with the patient records, you have to manage medication, which is tied into the inventory. So let's quickly look at how the inventory looks like. And what we have is something that allows them to basically add all the drugs, supplies they have in the inventory, and when a doctor is prescribing that on the medication side, the quantity is being deducted. Okay, and on our product roadmap at the moment, we have the patient communications part that allows doctors to be able to send bulk and automated messages to their patients, be able to have conversations with their patients through a patient-facing patient health record app that we're going to be releasing very soon. And also on the roadmap is our analytics that will allow us to basically take most of all this data and present it in a visually compelling way for these doctors. That's about it for now. Thank you.